Hello and welcome back to the No Huddle Podcast. Round one just finished up right around an hour and a half ago. And if I'm being honest, the plan was not for me to come on here and start talking after round one, but it was such a crazy, unprecedented really round one in terms of how many trades we had, how much movement there was, and frankly, some insane picks that we really need to talk about. Some crazy draft slides. So we're going to get to all of that today. And the main reason for me doing this podcast, we're just going to start with it right away because I genuinely cannot believe this, is the Rams going with Ty Simpson at 13. Now, the Rams and Les Snead and Sean McVay have been a, let's just call them pillar of stability in the NFL. They often do not make questionable choices. They do not. It is very rare where I am saying the Rams made a mistake. I love their trade for Trent McDuffie, regardless of how much they had to give in that contract, which is insane. And when the board fell for them at 13, after they made the James Pierce trade last year, which was incredibly smart, this was their chance to capitalize on it. This was their chance. They had everything go the way they wanted to. At 13, they had their choice of Mekhi Lemon on offense or Ruben Bain Jr. on defense. So, again, just to paint a clearer picture here, they could have had an offense in 2026 when they're already the favorite to go win the Super Bowl. Their offense could have been Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, and Mekhi Lemon. Or let's say you already trust Matthew Stafford and your guys and Sean McVay to get that done. Then you can go to your defense, who is returning your defensive coordinator in Chris Shula, and you could have gave him Ruben Bain, Jared Verse, Byron Young, Braden Fisk. That is it. You get either one of those options. You're already the favorites. But you go from the favorites to being this unbeatable juggernaut on one side of the ball in terms of a position group where both of them are like the second and third most important groups in the NFL. Where you would come away clearly with either the best receiving core or one of the best defensive lines in football. That was what they had. That's what they had in front of them. And instead they go Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson going number 13 is one of the most shocking picks I can remember in a long time. Ty Simpson going 13 is more shocking to me than the Jaguars passing up on Aiden Hutchinson for Travon Walker 4 years ago, which was a mistake, regardless of the Travon Walker being a solid player. This is more shocking to me than when the Giants took Daniel Jones at 6 when he was probably available in the second round. This is just an unbelievable move. The only move where I can think where I was genuinely just this shocked was when the Raiders drafted Clelin Ferrell, number 4 overall, when he was projected to go late 30s. I cannot remember a move where I heard a report of it, a friend of mine refreshed the tweet and got it, and I was so convinced it was fake. Not for 1 second did I believe it was real, until I saw Goodell go up there and announce it on the podium. Ty Simpson, this is gonna sound harsh. Ty Simpson is a worse version of Mac Jones as a prospect. I'm sorry, that is just what he is. I've done some work on Ty Simpson. I don't get it. I really don't. This is from the 49ers Rush. They do a great draft book every year. Go ahead. They're the inspiration for this channel. But if we're just looking at Ty Simpson here, they have him as their third quarterback in the draft, behind Garrett Nussmeier, who is probably not going to go until round 4. But Ty Simpson hasn't played very much. Being a coach's son's a huge help, so a large part of his spot is nepotism. Started off 2025 as a top 10 pick, but came back to reality in the second half of the season. Best trait is reading coverages and knowing where to go with the ball. A smaller frame hurts his evaluation, maximizes yak for wide receivers on routes constantly, decent arm strength at best, does protect the ball well, and doesn't put it in jeopardy often. Rhythm passer that is on or off during stretches with not much tape. They had it projected as a Quinn Ewers, Mac Jones type, and expected to go in the second round at best. I, on this podcast, said that Ty Simpson was going first round. I called it on the show a few days ago. But that being said, my thing was the Cardinals were going to trade up to 32 with the Seahawks, and I thought they were going to take him there. And I said it was going to be a huge mistake, but they were going to do it. But the Cardinals got beat out by 19 picks. I am flabbergasted by this move. This is significantly worse and weirder than Jordan Love going to the Packers. Because Jordan Love, at least there was a vision. Jordan Love was one hell of a raw talent. Everything, all the physical traits were there with Jordan Love. Like, there was no doubts that Jordan Love, with time, could be a great quarterback. And I don't know if Jordan Love's a great quarterback right now, but he's at least a very solid one, more than capable of doing whatever Green Bay needs him to do. I don't see that vision for Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson needs time. Yes, absolutely. And he will get more than that. I think he'll get 2 years with Matthew Stafford. But Ty Simpson just doesn't have the physical traits to where I think he will be able to come back. He'll be able to lead in and take a huge step like Jordan Love did. I really don't. This is one of I cannot emphasize how truly shocked I am at this move. When the Rams had literally everything in front of them. I don't get it. I really do not get it. A slam dunk move would have been trading up 2 spots and grabbing Caleb Downs. We already know the Dolphins were available for business, as seen by the Cowboys swapping 1 pick with them. And the Dolphins won Caden Proctor, who realistically wasn't going to go until like 15 or 16 anyways. There were so many slam dunk moves they could have made. And for this to be the move, I cannot emphasize how insanely shocking this is. The Rams went, in my view, as the easy Super Bowl favorite. They had a moment where they could have been the consensus Super Bowl favorite, and I would have felt like my mind wouldn't have been able to change really until midway through the season. And it got all topped off. It was even better by the post-draft conference interview where Les Snead, the GM, sounding excited about the move, and Sean McVay is just like, he is the least enthusiastic I think I've ever seen him. Sean McVay is a player's coach. Sean McVay is there to hype up his guys. I remember him running into the end zone in 2021 when he was playing the 49ers, or when they were playing the 49ers, and almost getting a penalty because he's celebrating in the end zone with his players. He's a player's coach. He wants to go out there and hype up his guys. And even he had like nothing to say. This was clearly not a Sean McVay decision. No part of me will understand this move. And again, maybe Ty Simpson comes in like 3 years and is a great quarterback. And you know what? I'm sitting here eating crow. And if so, okay, I'm fine with that. But nothing tells me when this roster is this good. This roster is better than when Green Bay's was when they took Jordan Love. This roster could have used just a luxury pick. Just why not? Grab another receiver. Grab another edge rusher. Hell, grab tackle. We saw the tackle run come in a few picks later. Blake Miller ends up going 17, was a guy I really liked. Blake Miller, you slide him in at right tackle. He'll be great. You can slide him in as a day one starter. You could have gone the Penn State Ione. You could have got him, slide him in at guard. Seattle has has incredible interior pass rush. That would fix some of your problems. That they do this. I cannot. This is just, it's unbelievable. And it's the reason why I hopped on this podcast today, just because I needed to vent about it. And as a Niners fan, I love it. I was celebrating when this pick happened. The Niners didn't have a pick today, yet I came out of this feeling like a winner. Because we knew that the Rams had an opportunity to get significantly better today for next year, and even the year after. But they didn't. It is a blunder. It's a mistake. I cannot emphasize this enough. Now, moving off of Ty Simpson, we're going to move off the rant here. I'm going to go to another mistake. I talked about this on the podcast a few days ago. Jeremiyah Love to the Cardinals. I said that taking Jeremiyah Love anywhere near the top 5 when the rookie pay scale is the way it is just not a smart business decision, because you are going to have to pay him so much money compared to other running backs. And yeah, we already know Jeremiyah Love is going to get a 4-year, $50 million deal, fully guaranteed, which is right around the top end of guaranteed money for all running backs in the league already. And he's a rookie, so you're not getting any rookie premium value in that respect. I explained this in depth on the previous podcast. I don't want to really rehash it all. But just know that this was not a smart business decision. It was very clear that the Cardinals really wanted to trade out of this pick. They'd been calling teams left and right. They were looking for anybody to try and jump up to 3. Their hope was, I thought they would get somebody after Reese slipped and didn't go to the Jets. But since nobody was really that interested, nobody picked up the phone. They liked Jeremiyah Love, so they went with Love. And my thing with Love also is, if you consider the timeline thing, Love is like a premium splash impact player that can help you right now. But Jacoby Brissett and that terrible Cardinals offensive line are not ready to win games. So getting Jeremiyah Love doesn't help them here. I don't get that one. And then the last one, I don't think this is so much of a loser thing, or them being a loser of the draft, as much as it is an unfortunate swing and a miss for them. It was pretty clear that the Kansas City Chiefs got baited in this draft. So let me explain. When the Titans went Cardinal Tate at 4, the Giants were up at 5, and they had Arvo Reese on the board, right? And we know they end up taking Arvo Reese. But the Giants have so many edge rushers that the Chiefs, again, that's the way I'm interpreting this. I think the Chiefs fully thought that they were just going to go somebody else, either Sonny Styles, either Caleb Downs, any number of those defensive impact players, or Ruben Bain. Not Ruben Bain, because they didn't need an edge rusher. I thought they were going to go. I assumed that they thought they were going to go with any one of those guys. But the Giants just went best player available and took Arvo Reese, despite having Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, and Kevon Thibodeau already on the roster. So I thought the Chiefs were making that trade up because they thought they were going to get Arvo Reese at 6. And when Arvo Reese went at 5, they're like, oh, shit. Oops, didn't expect that one. Neither did the rest of the league, in fairness. I don't think anybody thought the Giants were going to go edge at 5. But with that being said, they take the guy that they were going to take at 9 if Arvo Reese did not fall to them, which was Mansour Delane, who, don't get me wrong, is a great corner, by far the best corner in this draft. No injury questions. Blazing speed, amazing for the zone scheme. He is going to slot in and be that Trent McDuffie replacement right away. But they could have got him at 9 and not had to give up a surplus value to move up. Like, they lost out on a 3rd-round pick and a 5th-round pick, just really for free, which is unfortunate for them. I like the idea of going for the swing with Arvo Reese, but I really would have waited until he was off the board, just because, again, I really do not buy that they trade up for Mansour Delane. I don't think any team ahead of them was going to take him. So, all right, moving on to the winners here. This is for the Ty Simpson reason, the Seahawks and the 49ers. They come away as by far the biggest winners of the draft. I think anybody else who has something different isn't really thinking about this too hard, because the Seahawks and the Niners went from having to potentially deal with, again, that wide receiver unit, that edge unit, to a Rams team that's almost looking to the future with Ty Simpson and is losing out on a premium playmaker on one of either end. So all of a sudden the Rams just became a little bit easier to beat. And, you know, again, if Matthew Stafford goes down this season, then they'll be like, God damn, I wish they didn't take Ty Simpson, because I think Simpson can come in and play a solid role for them. But as of right now, the Rams are a worse team than we thought that they were going to be, because they end up with Simpson. So in that respect, the Seahawks and the Niners, both their biggest competition, and the Rams are a worse team, so they come away as large winners here. But outside of those guys, second biggest winner I have is the Bears. Getting Dylan Thieneman at 25 was just huge. That was so good. They lost Kevin Byard in free agency to the Patriots. And Byard was a big thing for the Bears was their defense last year gave up a ton of yards. And really, again, they got marched on. You remember the Bears-Niners game? They really were getting the ball moved on them. And they locked in the playoffs. Give them credit. They did a really good job on the Rams. But their whole thing was they got away with takeaways. That's how the Bears operated. They finished with, I think, 27 takeaways last year. And they lost their biggest ball hawk in Kevin Byard. And they lost Nashawn Wright. So they needed somebody who could come in and take the ball away. And they get that with Dylan Thieneman. He is an absolute ball hawk. He'll come in, he'll start right away. He can take the Kevin Byard role, and he will thrive in that role. I love that pick for the Bears. As soon as I saw him fall to 25, I'm like, that's Thieneman. That's Thieneman right there. And I don't think they ever could have thought he would be available there. So, huge win for the Bears. It's also a big win in respect of the Lions got Blake Miller, who I really love. So, that's unfortunate for them. But the Packers didn't have a first-round pick. And then the Vikings took Caleb Banks, who Banks is, again, really solid prospect. If he can stay healthy, I think it's great. But Banks had some really, really large offseason medical questions that I don't think that warrants the 18th pick. I think that medical red flag is way too high. It's risky. It's really, really risky. And who knows, especially with the Vikings, they could have taken Thieneman in that spot. They could have gone offensive line. Monroe Freeling, I think, went the pick right after. Oh, they'll take it. I thought he was going to go in the second round because of all the injury stuff. And then last winner I want to get to here is the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys, heading into this draft, we knew that they were going to look for one of those like premium defensive players. We talked about that on last week's last show. There was Caleb Downs, who's the guy they ended up getting. Ruben Bain, Sonny Styles, so on and so forth. And I thought the Cowboys were going to have to trade up to grab it. I thought they were going to have to trade up with the Saints to go get one of their guys. But they're able to just scooch up one spot with the Dolphins and grab Caleb Downs, who I think out of all those guys, they like the most, maybe outside of Sonny Styles. And man, Caleb Downs is going to come in and just be able to be a huge chess piece for them. Like he can do anything they want him to do on the field. He's one of the pure best just football players in the class, regardless of position, like him and Jeremiyah Love. He is going to be so freaking good for a Cowboys team that needed a star. They needed one hell of an impact player on day one, and they got it. So that was gigantic for the Cowboys. I cannot emphasize enough how good of a move that was. And not only that, if they had just done that, great draft. But not only that, they are able to trade back with their division rival. And yeah, they got Mekhi Lemon, which sucks for them. But they were able to pick up a pick. I mean, it sucks for the Cowboys because the Eagles got a good receiver. Not sucks for the Eagles. They were able to scooch back a bit, accrue more draft capital, and they got Malachi Lawrence, who I really, really liked. I think Lawrence is going to be able to come in and provide some really needed help along that edge. I liked him to the Niners a lot at 27. I thought he can come in and be an impact player right away. But instead he goes to Dallas, where that's going to just be so good. Yeah, they still have a real needed coverage linebacker. I think that's why they would prefer Sonny Styles if he was available, but he went to the Commanders at 7, which was also a really nice pick. And I'm loving what the Cowboys did in round 1, which I hate. I don't want to see the Cowboys do really well, but I got to call a spade a spade. They had a really nice draft. And because I don't think the guys we wanted at 27 were there. I think we were big on some of the tackles. All the tackles went. And I think we were maybe big on Concepcion, but he also went to the Browns. So, it'll be a fun day 2 and day 3. I think there's going to be a lot more activity. We saw that because of these reduced clocks. A lot of teams are starting to panic and make trades. So it'll be really fun. I want to thank you guys so much for listening to this segment of the No Huddle Podcast. And I hope you guys all have an amazing day.